I would like to formally announce that my relationship with the Logitech gear-driven wheels is finally over, because my friends over at Sim Racing Nation and Cammus sent me this. The Cammus C5 bundle. You guys might know this as one of the cheapest direct drive wheels out on the market, and I thought that was perfect for me to test out because I'm the budget guy, I feel like. I've used exclusively the Cammus C5 wheel for 2 weeks now for racing about 3 to 4 hours a day on average. Let's face it, I'm not a wheel reviewer. If you want to see somebody compare this Cammus wheel to another direct drive wheel, I would recommend watching like Boosted Media's video on it, but I wanted to provide an angle that I thought would be helpful for a lot of people out there. But for a $250 direct drive wheel and a $300 direct drive bundle, this is honestly pretty intriguing even for someone who knows nothing about the company. So today I wanted to share the answers to some of the questions I had going into this experience. Number 1, does even the cheapest direct drive wheel enhance the sim racing experience? Number 2, what are the pros of this wheel? Number 3, what are the cons of this wheel? And number 4, who would I recommend this wheel for, if anybody? This video isn't sponsored, by the way, but Cammus did send me the wheel and they are providing me a promo code to use for 5% off. Use code YEE. But does that mean I'm going to be really biased because of this? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a wheel reviewer. I'm just going to say what I think. Let's get right into it. Before I actually got to drive the wheel, I realized this wheel was some assembly required. I was kind of expecting a bundle like this to just be pull out, mount to my desk and play, but no, there was some things I definitely had to put together. But that's okay. I'm a super duper smart engineer guy, so it probably took me like 10 minutes, right? It took me about an hour and a half to do both the wheel and the pedals, but the wheel was easier, to be fair. The instructions were very clear except for one part where I just did not know which way to orient the fan inside of the wheel mount, but other than that, it was good. Another surprising part with the wheel, it was instantly plug and play. I just plugged it into my PC, didn't even download the Cammus software, and I went into iRacing and it instantly was able to be calibrated and I got right out onto the track. This is really odd. The first thing I noticed, I honestly didn't realize what gears felt like in steering wheels until right now. I'm like, wait a second, there's no like, you don't feel the not the crunching of gears, but you can feel the teeth of the gears in the Logitech. It feels so much different. I did not expect it to feel that much different. I just thought it was gonna be a little bit different, but it's gonna take some getting used to, but it's so much smoother. The feel of this versus the feel of my Logitech back there is so much smoother. Now, will I be as fast on this wheel to start out with? Not even close, but I want to try that out. So let's try a race real quick. Very great race. Good run. Just gotta take a normal corner. There we go. Should be it. Wow, great race. Ooh, that was close. He was coming for me. Alright, my tires I don't think were very good. Oh! Those are really good tires. Holy. 79.81. That is 3% better on the right front than I had at my best at the last time I raced here. Average lap time was a 37.60, which is pretty much within like half a second overall of what my best one was. So did the wheel make me better? No. Did I get used to this wheel extremely quickly? Yes. Now, if you already own a direct drive wheel, you're probably looking at me like, of course it's like that, but I've been on the gear Logitech for 10 years and I got used to it. I just thought that's how it was. And when I go to a wheel that you can kind of feel the grinding in the teeth and then move over to even a cheap direct drive wheel, it's immediate. Onto the force feedback. Going through bumps in the force feedback in the corner, it was a lot more smooth of an experience. When I would go over a bump, it would really feel like my wheel was hitting the bump as opposed to just giving me information that a bump has been hit, which was kind of what I was used to with the Logitech. Again, I was used to it, so it didn't really feel like anything to me, but now that I was using a direct drive wheel, I was like, oh yeah, this kind of does feel like I hit a bump in my actual car. At this point, I'm really just describing the main differences between direct drive and gear wheels, but that's literally what it is. And you would think it's not even fair to compare the Cammus and the Logitech, but they're on the same price point almost. Also, sorry about this light thing. Just pretend it's a really cool design on my boring Polo. But with the big questions, was I faster because of the new wheel and did I have more fun? For the first question, I did not expect myself to be faster at all, and I don't think I was, but I was pretty much the same speed in all of my comfortable car and track combinations between the Cammus wheel and the Logitech, which was pretty shocking to me. There was almost no learning curve, but the huge difference between it was I had a lot more fun driving on this direct drive wheel. Maybe it's like a novelty of receiving a new toy or something like that, but I was just wanting to drive more and more and more because of this wheel, whereas I've been kind of stagnating for personal racing on my Logitech. For oval racing, I don't expect for me to get faster instantly. I'm not even sure if it even raises my ceiling at all. I've always said that pedals are the main factor of hardware holding you back, and I still say that. I don't think that this direct drive wheel is necessary to become elite at oval racing in particular, but what it did for me was increase my immersion and I'm having more fun. Now that I've talked about my initial experience with direct drive as a whole, let's talk about the pros and cons for the Cammus C5 wheel specifically. The biggest pro for this wheel is probably that it's just a direct drive wheel for $250. Like, that's pretty crazy. I think if you told somebody that 5 years ago, they wouldn't believe you. They do have shipping from warehouses in North America, Europe, and Australia, but the shipping cost from there still seems to be about $60. Even with this number, it's about on par with the Logitech G923 bundle that you can get with free shipping, and then also the Moza bundle will be about $100 to $150 more if you do shipping from their warehouse. The pros about the wheel itself, I honestly expected it to be more flimsy. This is a pretty sturdy build, especially if you assemble it correctly. The plastic parts I'm a little more skeptical about, but for the most part, this is a metal sturdy build. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but the reliability of this wheel is so far at 100%. No glitches inside of any game, been easy to set up, no issues with really anything in terms of getting it consistent. Another pro to this wheel is the buttons. There are so many buttons on this wheel that you almost won't even know what to do with all of them. I have pretty much all of them bound to something, and it's very convenient not having to use my keyboard for just about anything anymore. The customizability of this wheel in the Cammus control panel was honestly a lot more comprehensive than I expected for a $250 wheel. The whole assembly is actually more compact than the Logitech G920 was, which is perfect for me, a desk racer. And now the cons. Number 1. It's pretty ugly. Like, you look at this and you say, yeah, that's a video game wheel. It doesn't feel like a real life wheel. It feels like a video game wheel that happens to be direct drive. Because the direct drive motor is in the wheel itself, this causes the wheel to be a little bit heavier than a freestanding wheel on a wheel base would be. This has caused me to struggle a little bit in my driving because of me being used to the Logitech G920 just going limp when I get loose, but I am getting used to it. I don't think this is absolutely ideal though. These shifter paddles I thought I would hate more than I do, but I'm still going to put them as a con because I've seen a Reddit post recently about this wheel where somebody broke off the plastic piece that's the shifter paddle and basically they can't replace it even if they tried to make something themselves. The actual function for the paddles though, I surprisingly like because the very sufficient click of them is better than the Logitech ones in my opinion, which are a little more wishy-washy where they actually trigger. I'm pretty sure the force feedback isn't perfect, not that I have anything to compare it to, but sometimes I hit a wall or hit bumps really hard and it'll feel a little bit more grindy or vibraty than it would be just like actually hitting a bump in real life. One last con I forgot to cover. I don't like these pedals. And I think it's because I am a pedal on carpet type racer and they just did not work on carpet. I would have had to mount them to like a box or a crate or something if I really wanted to use them. The feel of them, I would probably put on par with the Logitech G29 pedals just because they're metal, but the feel of them, they're a little bit more stiff. So if you like a little bit more stiff of a pedal, but it's not going to be anything close to like a load cell or a vibration pedal experience. It's just kind of like any starter pedal except a little more metal to it. So who would I recommend this wheel for? I think that barring anything that pops up with longevity, which I cannot speak to yet, I would recommend this wheel over a G29 or a G923 wheel because simply you're getting a direct drive for the same price that you would pay for a gear wheel. My gut feeling is that it will last me quite a while. It's a quality build. It's a lot of metal. The only plastic parts that I'm nervous about are those shifter paddles and maybe the buttons, but the buttons don't matter too much. Would I recommend you upgrading from the Logitech G920 to this wheel kind of like what I did? I think it depends on your budget. If you're really strapped for cash and you don't want to pay the $500-600 it would take to get a really nice direct drive wheel, I think that this will enhance your experience for a budget price. And if you want to sell your Logitech G920 while you're doing that, it probably wouldn't cost much for the upgrade at all. In my head, the best customer for this wheel is going to be somebody who does not own a wheel yet, wants to get into sim racing, and wants to go straight into direct drive because this wheel is plug and play. It worked great for me right off the bat, and I think that you can get a gauge for if you want to progress and get even more expensive gear, or if you're fine with your budget entry-level gear and still have direct drive. And of course, that customer should use code YEE for 5% off. Oh God, I'm a shill. But let me know what you guys think about this wheel. Would you buy this over a Logitech? Would you save the money on this versus a more well-known direct drive brand? I don't know. It's probably up to the individual. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.